This sends out $1,000 ongoing monthly checks for everyone. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video. Let's get into it and talk through all the details. All right, now first off, if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, at some point you've probably heard me talk about different programs that are out there like Guaranteed Basic Income, GBI, Universal Basic Income, UBI, Universal High Income, stimulus checks, ongoing monthly checks, and all of these different programs that are out there. Well, these are very popular. In fact, in just the last handful of years, we've seen over 150 of these programs pop up all across the country, sending out no strings attached payments to the low income, which, by the way, I want to focus on this for just a second here. Usually, most of these programs focus only on the low income. Okay, now that's the thing. I've said that before in other videos. There are not programs out there that say, hey, this one is focused on the high income. Only high income people get a monthly check. No, that's not a thing. Okay, usually these programs are only focused on low income individuals. Usually they have an income threshold. They say, hey, if your earnings are X or lower, then you may be eligible based on these other factors as well. And again, it's all program specific. They're all a little bit different. But what I want to talk about here in this video is actually a little bit of an interesting one, because it was not that long ago that we actually saw one of the states out there voting on this as well. One of these types of programs that would have sent out literally ongoing monthly checks to everybody, literally every single person. Now, here's the thing. These are still getting popular, and we're even seeing this on the national level, as in lawmakers in the House of Representatives have this out there in legislation to send out ongoing monthly checks for virtually everybody. Not every single person of the population, but a huge percentage of our population. That'd be massive in a huge way. Now, here's what's interesting about this as well. And again, I just want to throw this out there really fast. Have you seen developments as of recently, just the last couple of years, or even just the last 1 year alone? Have you seen all of these different businesses that are either closing down, going bankrupt, laying off thousands and thousands of people? Why is this happening? Well, first off, the economy is shifting. Number two, the expansion of sophisticated technology, robotics, AI, all of these things like this, it is taking over huge sections of the economy, and we're seeing a lot of people losing their jobs and employment because of basically robots that can work 24/7, 365. And they don't have sick days. They don't have vacation days. They don't have all of these other things, right? So again, we're seeing this added all over the country everywhere, and it's only going to continue to expand even more than this going forward. But anyway, I do want to talk about really quickly this program. Again, UBI, Universal Basic Income, okay? It's not a new concept whatsoever. It's been around a very long time. But this is the program that I wanted to focus on really quickly, because with everything going on, we continue to see these programs, most of which right now are showing up as Guaranteed Basic Income programs. Generally, these are on either the state level, the county level, or the city level, the very local level, things like this. The Guaranteed Basic Income programs, they're all over the country right now. Again, about 150 of them have shown up over the last, call it, 5 years or so. It hasn't been all that long. We've seen a bunch of these programs showing up, but also, on the national level, like I said, we have lawmakers out there with a piece of legislation called the Support Act. This one would send out $1,200 ongoing monthly checks for a 5-year period of time to basically everybody who has an income under a certain threshold, which would be $75,000 a year as an individual, or $150,000 a year as a married couple. Now, that's still sitting out there, and again, that's obviously not everybody there, but my point is, considering how popular these programs are getting, considering they were never even a thing in this country prior to 2019, they were never even around. The very first Guaranteed Basic Income program started in Stockton, California in 2019. So not that many years ago is when the very first one started. My point is, prior to 2019, we didn't really hear about any of these types of programs. Obviously, stimulus checks have been around a very long time. They've done many of those over the last, 2.5 decades or so. They've done multiple stimulus checks, so those will still continue to come around, but those are not necessarily a recurring thing, and they're typically not for everybody. They're for usually a huge percentage of the population, but they only come around during economic downturns, economic contractions, economic recessions, whatever we want to call it, all referring to the exact same thing. But that's why this is so important to continue watching, because like I've said before in other videos, in my opinion, I don't think we're that far out too many years out. I don't know when it's going to be, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's in the next handful of years here, that if at some point on the national level, lawmakers come together and put the infrastructure in place to get a guaranteed basic income program set aside or established and ready, kind of just sitting there waiting and waiting in the bushes for when the time has come to boom, there it goes, and you can just start sending out money. And again, this is also interesting because over the last couple of years here, we've heard all about this digital currency, right? The digital dollar, the Fed coin, whatever you want to call it, the CBDC, central bank digital currency, right? There's all kinds of different names for it, but basically eliminating the green stuff, money, dollars that we carry around in our pockets, to completely getting rid of that and replacing it with a digital dollar, like we said, Fed, digital dollar, Fed coin, whatever, Fed dollar. Again, there's all kinds of different names that it's called. But my point is, as these things continue to evolve out there and we continue to see more and more of these, again, how easy would it be if everything was digital? And again, I'm not saying that this is the answer going forward, but this is the trend that we're moving toward, and this is the way that things are definitely going. So it's not going to be that much longer until we completely eliminate the green dollars that we have, and it's all going to be digital. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of what we already do is pretty much digital anyway. I mean, when was the last time you used cash for something? I can't tell you the last time I did. I have no clue, right? Why? I don't use cash for anything virtually. Pretty much everything's either online or with a credit card. Why? Because it's easier. And of course, I want the points, right? If I'm going to spend money, I want the points so I can buy some stuff with the points at some point. But anyway, so as we continue to move forward, this is likely going to be how this whole thing changes. Now, again, how easy would it be if everybody had these digital dollars and we had all of these different sophisticated, bank accounts and things like this that they had access to, which they will, by the way. They will have full access to all of these. My point is, let's just say that in a situation where people need, I don't know, extra funding, more money, something like that, because of an economic downturn or the expansion of AI and robotics and technology and sophisticated computers and things like this, how easy would it be for them to just push a couple buttons and say, here, everybody that has one of these bank accounts, which everybody will have one of these new dedicated accounts, just plop $1,000 worth of digital currency in there, right? That's kind of what they're talking about and why this whole thing is being put into place anyway in the first place. I know it sounds super weird, like, no, that's so futuristic, that's not going to happen. I know it sounds weird, but this is literally where we're going. And again, could it happen in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? I'm not sure the timeline, but at least at some point it's likely going to happen. But anyway, I also want to take a minute here and talk about the Support Act. I alluded to this earlier as well, but I just want to point this out really fast here. So this was, to be fair, this was actually introduced a couple years ago. It was introduced by a bunch of lawmakers in the House of Representatives. It's called the Support Act, and it's $1,200 per month per adult, plus an extra $600 per month per dependent. My point is, that's a lot of money. But what do they see that we may not see right now? Well, they're probably looking at the same things we are, but what they're trying to do is be proactive. Be proactive to where this economy is going, where the future is going, which is basically there's going to need to be some type of income floor. Now, that's why I pointed out earlier in this video, I said not that long ago, one of the states actually tried to do this. Do you remember this? Back in early November with everything going on, right? We had the state of Oregon. They voted on this. They voted on implementing a universal basic income program in that state, right? What they were going to do is implement a 3% tax on corporations with $25 million of revenues or more per year. And then all that money collected from corporations within the state of Oregon would have been distributed in $750 checks per resident per year forever. Or at least for some undefined amount of time, but every single person, literally a universal basic income program in the state of Oregon. Now, it didn't pass. In fact, it didn't even come close to passing. The votes came in on that thing, something like, just under 22% said in favor, yes, and like 78% of people said no. It was nuts. I'm actually surprised by the results of that. I thought it had a much better chance of that, but no, it didn't. My point is, even in the state of Oregon they voted on a universal basic income program. We've never seen a universal basic income program in this country in the history of the United States, ever. There's other countries around the globe that have tried universal basic income, and yes, it can be effective, but in my honest opinion, universal basic income program, in my opinion, would not be the best approach going forward. Sending every single person out there $500, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, whatever they decide to do, in my opinion, would not be the best approach, because that's just going to lead to a lot of supply chain issues and a lot of supply and demand issues. And you know what that means? Inflation. Yeah, higher prices, because you have too much money chasing too few goods and services. Therefore, we drive up prices, basically just bidding prices up, right? But rather, as we've talked about before in other videos and the studies that have been released, if they were just highly focused money on the low income and fixed income people out there, they'd have a much better chance of avoiding inflation and getting the money into the pockets of the people that actually need it. And then we would not have to deal with all of the adverse effects of too much money going out to too many people. That's kind of the situation we're in. But luckily, again, with the exception of the state of Oregon, luckily, all of these other programs that are out there are guaranteed basic income, which in my opinion is a much, much better approach, as that focuses money on just the people that need it, the low income, the fixed income, and helps those people out financially versus everybody. Not a good approach, in my opinion, going forward. But I honestly don't think it's going to be all that long until we have a nationwide guaranteed basic income type of program on the table, and we see something like this that's out there just available, whether they're actually distributing money from it or not, but it's distributed and available on the federal level. Again, I'm not going to be shocked at all when we see this happen, but at least it's going to be there. The infrastructure will be in place, and we've even had lawmakers that have come out and said, hey, we got to get the infrastructure in place now so that when we need it, it's there. Not like, uh-oh, guys, quick, we got to scramble. We're in this situation now, and people need money. People need financial resources, things like this, and we don't have the infrastructure. We have the lawmakers that have said that. We've got to put it in place now. Get it set aside. Just get it up and running. Build it, set it there, and when we need it, all we have to do is push a button, and boing, there goes some money out to the people, right? Very interesting, very fascinating to see how this has been transpiring here over the last couple of years. All of this has been changing so quickly. I'd say mostly from the year of 2020 until now, things have changed massively. Just think back to 2019. Were things this weird in 2019? Not that I remember anyway. I mean, maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but things have gotten super weird over the last few years. And realistically, this is the new normal. This is it. I know that's like the new saying that came out in like 2020, but unfortunately, this is the new normal, and we kind of have to adapt to it. So anyway, does that give you a bunch of information about the different programs that are out there? Universal basic income, sending out money to everybody. Don't love that approach. That's my opinion. Guaranteed basic income, really like that approach. Very highly effective. Checks just for the low income and fixed income. Good approach right there. And of course, all the other programs that they have out there. So anyways, I want to talk through the details about this really quickly. I keep reading about this. A lot of information popping up out there about these. Again, just want to keep you posted on this. Anyway, I'm here for anybody that I possibly can be. As always, please subscribe down below. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe as well. Totally free to do so. Big subscribe button right down below the video. Otherwise, feel free to share this video. If you know anybody, one or two people that you think would be, find this information to be valuable or find it to be informational or interesting, whatever, please feel free to share this video with them. Again, share button right down below the video. Thanks, really appreciate that. Otherwise, feel free to like the video. Thumbs up button right down below. Thank you so much. Otherwise, check out the well over 5,000 videos here on the channel in the video library. Otherwise, down below in the description at the top of the comment section, I've hand-selected some videos for you there. Check those out. Or right now, popping up on your screen as well. You'll see some videos there. Check those out as well. Thanks again. Have a nice day, and I'll catch you again later.